Warning, this podcast might contain spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to a special episode of the As Seen on TV podcast for Daredevil. And this is a first impressions podcast for the first episode. That's all we watched. We haven't watched past it. We've resisted the urge to binge watch.
You don't even begin to understand how difficult this was, because I stayed up for it. 3 a.m. is when it came up for me, and I wanted to watch all of them then.
Yep. I skipped an important part. I'm your host, Mike. That's Dom. That's Erica. And that's Cleo.
Hello!
Everybody knows, yeah.
Rushing it through. There we go.
By now, everyone should know.
So, opinions of the first episode of Daredevil.
Well, I think we can all agree that the Ben Affleck movie was better.
I've never even seen it.
I liked that movie when it came out.
I'm kidding.
Okay.
I recognize
So-
I'm kidding! Bring me back!
No,
Monument.
that was actually one of the first things I noticed about the show, is how un-Daredevil it was compared to what I've seen of Daredevil in like movies and stuff.
Yeah.
There was no like super red on black imagery, and
No sitting on top of a gargoyle and jumping
Yeah,
to the street below.
there was no Batfleck.
I
Yes.
was also, and I think the most prominent thing about the movie, Daredevil, was how you saw how he saw. So
Right.
it was like the black screen, but then you saw the vibrations. And I'm liking how they're showing how he like hears the heartbeats, and it's like little camera
Trickery.
things and sound design instead of this weird like blind vision.
Yeah, I liked that. I also liked that they didn't spend the entire episode on an origin story.
Yes.
They gave
Right.
you, it was like, here's 2 minutes before the opening credits, and we're just going to give you piece by piece a little bit here and there throughout the episode, but really barely anything. You're going to have to figure it out for yourself.
I mean, it kind of is an origin story, though, at the same time. Because, yeah, we saw how he became blind as a kid. We got that. But now we're seeing him become Daredevil. Like, he's talking to the priest, asking for forgiveness that he hasn't, for things he hasn't done yet. And he's coming out as the masked vigilante. We get to see him in his vigilante suit before he was even Daredevil. So, like, he's not even Daredevil yet.
He's not even a successful defense attorney yet.
Right.
Or even a semi-successful.
This kind of is an entire origin story. But it didn't feel like it.
Yeah, exactly. But you know how the movie took like a half an hour to go from his childhood to like even before he started doing anything. This is one episode and we're already like he's fighting crime.
Yeah.
Like in the first 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, he's fighting crime.
And I like how they give it, he's not, like, if you pay attention really closely to the fight scenes, he's not like some superhero. He's just a skilled fighter, martial artist. He's the equivalent of Agent May with no guns right now.
Well, I actually wanted to address that because I don't think he's even skilled. I'm not sure he's even trained in fighting. I think what he's learned has been on his own, and he's relying on his senses. And that's what's helping him beat these people. When he goes up against someone who is skilled, I think that's going to be hard. Like his fight with the
Assassin
hitman
Yeah.
was tough. Like he fought those thugs like whatever, they're thugs. But fighting that hitman was hard because that guy knew how to fight. And I'm not sure that Matt actually knows how to fight.
I don't know, his stance and some of the hand gestures and stuff that he made seemed to me like he's got some kind of background. He may not be like extremely versed in it, but I feel like he's got the basics of some kind of martial arts form down.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, he probably learned basic boxing, because his dad was...
Well, not even boxing. It's just like the way his hands and like he was able to the block that's not like a typical block. So I feel like he's got some kind of martial arts background somewhere, which I don't know if they'll ever explore or explain, but
Yeah.
you know,
Possibly.
but we did see the boxing at the end when he went to go train.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. He's definitely training on his own, because I mean, you can't give away like, hey, I'm blind, but I can actually
yeah, just keep the lights
do
off.
this.
Yeah. Keep the lights off. I don't know really where to go with this. This was just I don't know. I liked their portrayal of Daredevil, and I also like how it's taking place in... Because, I mean, if you've seen the cinematic universe, you've seen Captain America, you've seen all this crap happen all over the world and everything. This is just a tiny, little itty-bitty section of New York City that this is taking place in. Post-alien invasion.
Hell's Kitchen.
Right, Hell's Kitchen. Post-alien invasion New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Which they don't exactly throw in your face, but... You know, even if you're half paying attention, you realize, oh, this is taking place post-Avengers. It is in the same, thing.
Supposedly, this is taking place during the first half of this season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Okay.
So it is pretty much concurrent with where we are now in the cinematic universe. And I mean, we haven't seen like boots on the ground, normal people, New York since even in Avengers. It was, we were seeing it from the point of view of the people who were doing the superhero fighting. Like we saw the regular people, but that was just them running away. Now we're seeing like, this is normal New York. No, normal New York.
Right, and we've seen
Yeah,
it from... yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I really like the way that the TV shows are kind of branching off and exploring like these lesser characters, some people that don't exactly have these crazy powers that are for the big screen. They're saving all the big stuff for the big screen, right? We got all the four Avengers, we got Ant-Man, there's more than four Avengers, but the four main Avengers. And, like they have like these incredible superpowers and these super abilities. And then we get like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is focusing on a tactical team, and now some other stuff is happening to them. So we're dealing with that, on that show. And this is just kind of like taking this little like pocket corner of New York and doing like this crime lord kind of shady stuff that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe does not feel like it would translate very well onto the big screen. Like it's perfect for the small screen.
Right.
And it's really raw and gritty, and I like that.
I agree.
Yeah. And I think that that's a similar reason why the Daredevil movie wasn't successful, why I don't like the Hulk movies, because I don't think that those characters translate to having their own movie. And I think with the MCU expanding to all sorts of platforms, I think it's perfect for these characters to like get a start and then maybe get thrown into somebody else's movie, which I'm sure will happen down the line.
Right. It just
Daredevil.
mention the fact that Daredevil, the next time they visit New York in a big, one of the Marvel movies, just have a mention of him.
I mean, don't forget, I know it's a little ways out still, but Civil War was the reveal of superheroes. So there's a possibility Daredevil may be involved in that in some way, shape, or form. It's not out of the question.
That did cross my mind.
True.
There's one thing that I was thinking when everybody, people were talking here was all this stuff, the MCU, everything has its basis in comic books, and comic books are used to putting out multiple stories every month, sometimes even every week whenever they had a massive plot line, and now we're finally starting to see that, whereas it's not like a every few years movie. They're actually starting to branch out to these TV shows where they can put out a story every week or every month, or in the case of Netflix, drop a full season every year.
Yeah.
And they're wanting to expand the stories to make a complete full world, and
Well,
not just the.
This is kind of part of the Defenders series, right? So we are going to get more chapters of this overall arc that's going on. So
Yes.
Do we know the format of that? Is it being like, is next year Luke Cage, or for example, or is that coming in like a couple months or something?
I googled it earlier, but didn't want to like read too much because I was like afraid like some of these articles would have information about Daredevil already.
Yeah.
So I didn't read too deep into it. So I don't know. I'm not sure.
Right, that's the problem with doing this.
I tried to look it up.
We
So.
watched one episode, yet the other 12 are available and tempting, and even Netflix is auto-playing them. Like, please, watch me.
I had to go, no, stop.
Yeah, the main reason we were thinking about doing 3 episodes in a shot is because Netflix does 3 episodes in a shot before it cuts you off. Are you still watching?
Yeah. You should probably go take a break. Maybe take
go
a
outside.
walk. Go outside. Breathe some fresh air.
Stretch your legs.
Yeah, so for those of you guys that are wondering how we're going to handle this going through, because we typically follow stories like this on a week-by-week basis, and here Netflix is dropping the whole thing on our lap at once. So I think the best course of action is we're just going to cover the first episode like we are now, and then we're just going to go watch the other 12, and then we'll come back to you guys with podcasts about maybe some of the topics involved in the series and stuff like that, maybe like the overall kind of thing. We will probably drop a couple mini podcasts on you.
Yep.
No, I mean, full-length podcast, just not about any specific episode.
Right,
exactly.
Like, the rest of it will just be like spoilers for the whole freaking show.
A typical format.
Yes.
And I like it.
But I think it's... And I think, as obviously, I would assume we're going to cover the rest of the Defenders series.
Mm-hmm.
I can almost guarantee it. Yeah.
We'll do similar
Very
format.
likely.
If it's anything like this, did you guys notice that the first thing I noticed when I booted this up, it's TVMA.
Yes.
Like that is a first for Marvel.
Well, they're not on a broadcast network, so it's just like HBO or Showtime or something like that. They're not required to follow any kind of guidelines.
Right, but they haven't even put out a rated R movie.
No, they haven't. Not yet.
What's the age for MA?
The general 17, I believe, is the general gist of it.
Yeah, TVMA is basically rated R.
It's for the most part, rated R.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I noticed
much
it
about
throughout.
This
Yeah. Language was relatively clean for a Netflix series, but noticing throughout the actress who plays Karen spent how many seasons on True Blood, and then she's changing in front of Matt, and I'm just like, wow, I just can't wait to flip our tits out again, can't we?
I was like, no, don't do that.
She didn't. Very true. But
right.
I was cringing, like, oh god, tell me. I'm like, this is Marvel, but it is Netflix. What? Okay, middle ground. They reached it.
Yeah.
Netflix. It's not a Netflix-owned show.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Netflix original, but it's not produced by Netflix. Same way like Lilyhammer and House of Cards, which I've been binge watching all day, is. And it's like they know there's no broadcast boundaries. There's no FCC oversight. So it's what does Marvel and Disney want to get away with, not whatever else.
I had scrolled up to see time, and I just catch in chat my wife. You mean I might see butts and maybe a pair of pillows? Honey, if you ever wanted to see Jessica's pillows, then yes, go for it. God.
Yeah. No, but it's crazy because we got to see like broken bones like protruding out of the body and like blood, like good blood, not like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where it's like, I don't know.
Like, oh wait, there's blood?
It's just like, oh, it's a wound, but it's like under the guy's shirt and you just see the blood on the shirt. This is like it's pouring out of his mouth. It was great.
You know what? I didn't even notice the bones because I just got finished watching the last season of Spartacus.
Oh. You're good.
So that's like a million times worse. So it didn't even faze me that bones were,
You're good. You're numb. Game of Thrones is coming up, so you'll be more numb for the rest of it.
Spartacus was so good.
Yeah, what'd you guys think about the crime lord? Obviously they're going Kingpin direction.
Right.
Watching the first episode, I don't actually understand who the villain is. The main bad guy got killed.
Right.
So,
from the first, it's whoever, the guy in the suit there who threatened the cop's daughter at college
big
or whatever.
Guy.
Yeah.
Whatever his name is. Yeah.
Yeah, he says, my employer.
Yeah.
And then someone goes to say his name, and then he cuts him off, and he goes, we don't speak his name.
Right.
So they're clearly going for the Kingpin. Clearly.
Yeah.
Well, is it the Kingpin, or is it the Asian Kingpin, or...
Hey.
Well, those five, I don't even know if we could call them businessmen, but those 5 people are obviously working under Kingpin.
Under the businessman.
Under the businessman.
Yeah.
They seem to have a different, purview. One of the, he beats up those thugs who were obviously kidnapping girls for a slave ring.
Yeah.
Or
They also have a cocaine ring going as well.
Yes, the scary
Which
Chinese
was
lady.
weird.
All blind people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were all blind.
Well,
How do you measure product and know that everything's right when it's just blind people?
They had the measuring cups.
they had measuring
They'd just
cups.
be
And they
like,
were going
fill
with
this
the
cup, put it in
stamps.
this bag, kind of.
I'm like, how are you getting the stamps perfectly in the middle? What's happening?
Hey, but you know what? They can't say where they are. They can't see anything.
That's true.
So
That's true. They can't say who their employer is.
they can't snitch if they can't see. They get picked up, shipped to the location in a van. They're blind. How do they know where they're going?
Yeah.
They're not exactly
Right.
Liam Neeson trapped in a trunk. So
Count the turns.
exactly.
I kept looking at what's Matt Murdock's lawyer's his partner. What's his
Foggy
Fog?
Nelson.
Foggy.
Fog?
Yeah.
I kept looking at him, and all I could think is he was in the Butterfly Effect. He played like old Lenny, from like in the future, kind of. And all I was picturing was Lenny the entire episode.
What I had was Jon Favreau, who directed the couple of the Iron Mans. He played Foggy in the Ben Affleck version, and I just got to say they both play the character identical for the most part. It was kind of scary, actually.
Wasn't
That
he
would have been
originally in
funny
the
if
Mighty
Favreau
Ducks?
was like,
Was this kid?
IMDb.
I just blew Mike's mind.
Back the I had to back up there for a second. Holy shit, he was.
oh, okay.
Dude.
This guy gives me a real Jonah Hill vibe. I don't, Foggy the character, not the actor.
Yeah, the mouth on him. He's, just very quick talking and kind of sarcastic.
And blunt.
And blunt.
Yeah.
Yes, I like blunt.
Like I like all the blind jokes and stuff that were going on, and it was really actually what that actually brings up a good interesting thing that I was reading earlier. Apparently, Netflix does this thing where they have audio descriptions format for people that are blind that can listen to the show, and Daredevil of all shows is not available in that format.
That's not good.
That just
strange,
does
They need
not
to get
sit
on
right
that.
to me.
I have a strange feeling that might be a joke right now. No, that's horrible.
It's kind of I don't know like.
That's
It's not a big deal because how many blind people are trying to watch Daredevil right now, but it's a little ironic,
Well, I mean, that also brings up, like, inclusion and diversity. So these kinds of characters that represent, like, a small group of people, like, can look up to this hero. So blind people probably look up to Daredevil. And to not be able to watch the show because that's weird. They should get on that. I was actually just thinking about this because there are versions. I think the current comic book version of Hawkeye is deaf, and how like there was this deaf kid who was like, "What? Hawkeye's deaf?" And he read like all of the comics and was like super happy that there was a character like him.
There is that. Netflix, get on it. I didn't even
Get on it.
I didn't even think to look into that. That's something.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy though, but you would think that it's a Netflix kind of thing, but you would think Marvel would be all up on that and make sure that happened too. So I mean they had enough time.
Maybe I don't know.
It could also just be a thing that's coming. Maybe
It could be coming. Maybe they're having difficulty implementing it in a way that fits for the show.
I mean, pun totally not intended. I think it was just overlooked. Like I think they it probably wasn't like first thing on their mind because I didn't even know that this was a feature that Netflix had.
Right.
So I mean, they probably just weren't thinking about it at the time, but it's probably something that's in their mind now.
Mm-hmm.
Very
So.
much so. So,
Hopefully.
on the episode itself, do we have anything else big to mention? I mean,
I was a little surprised that he wasn't sleeping in like the water tank, to be honest.
I wasn't.
They're going. I mean, they're taking liberties with this, just like they have with every other, Marvel character that in the cinematic universe. So I wasn't surprised at all. I was actually looking for it, like, okay, so where's his big, sensory deprivation tank that he sleeps in? And it's like, nope, okay, not at all.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't think about that until after. I was like, oh, he doesn't have that. Maybe he knows he can, like, control it, or he may have trouble sleeping. That may be something we see down the line, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I had no idea.
Didn't come across my mind while I was watching it.
Yeah, came across, didn't notice it, but I'm just excited to go watch the rest of it, which I've been waiting. I finished it about 5.5, 6 hours ago, and I've been sitting here that whole time like, nope, we're gonna put on Netflix and we're gonna watch something else.
Something else.
That's
I
what
had
I
to shut
did.
Netflix off.
I just have I watch Netflix through my iPad on my Chromecast, and so it's basically just a big remote. And so, like, as soon as that episode ended, I put stop watching, switched immediately to House of Cards, and started that. Just because, I mean, what else are you gonna do?
I've been watching.
You gotta
MASH all
watch.
day.
Yeah, you gotta watch something. So it's like, yeah, as long as this is running, I won't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just waiting for July for the Orange is the New Black to come out, and
yep.
Yeah.
So as far as Daredevil goes, I mean, it's great. I like the interpretation. It was a well done show, and like I said, I'm excited to watch more. Anything else worth mentioning?
There's gotta be like 100 more things worth mentioning.
I know, but
so much of it is like contingent on the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, exactly.
It isn't like we're waiting next week for next episode. It's like, okay, the next time we decided to do a podcast, whether it's Monday or whatever, it'll
watch them all.
We'll watch the entire season.
I mean, the girl that he worked with, they took the first case on and all that. She's working for them. Like, is she working for them for free? Like, how long can somebody legit keep a job for free? Like,
I don't know. That's what she said.
She said she's gonna do it.
Maybe she'll like work until she's paid off the legal fees, and then she'll be like, "Hey, can you guys start paying me?" Maybe.
Maybe that's the deal.
Maybe she's working for free until they can make an income.
That's true.
Because their only case they took for free, so they're not making any money.
Like, how long have you been doing this? 7 hours.
What time is it?
Mm-hmm.
That was really funny.
Well, if you go back to when we passed our bar, no, I'm going back to when I got my first desk.
Oh, 7 hours.
Yeah, 7 hours.
She's like,
what?
You gotta be kidding.
What do you guys, at the very end, what do you guys think about that kid? The dad got beat down, they stole the kid.
Well, they're abducting children now. Like, they've moved on. I mean, those thugs were human trafficking, so... In the beginning, it was women, and now it's children.
It was probably children the whole time. We just saw women at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, they were young women too. They weren't full adults or whatever. They
maybe
looked like
teenage.
Yeah,
they're not.
Yeah.
They were
high school, college age.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd say somewhere junior high school age. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Crazy, evil, bad people.
How long do you guys think until he dons the full suit?
If he's going to at all this season, I'm gonna expect it towards one of the later episodes.
Some of the motion posters that I've seen, he's in both suits. He's in the vigilante suit and the Daredevil suit. So
I think he's gonna stick with the vigilante suit until I don't know, a few episodes at least. Until the vigilante stuff starts getting in the news, and he thinks, how about a costume?
I did notice that the episode 13 is titled Daredevil. So
maybe it'll be the season finale when he finally dons it. Maybe this whole season is an origin story.
Or maybe that's when he gets.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this whole thing's an origin story then. I mean, which is really interesting because Marvel just got through saying how they weren't doing origin stories anymore.
Well,
yeah, Kevin Feige said no more origin stories.
They're not doing traditional origin stories anymore.
but they said Ant-Man is going to be the last origin story.
They had
That's
also
true.
said they're not backing up time to do origin stories.
That is,
Yes.
yeah, that's
so
true.
if someone's already existing in the timeline, then they're just going
Then-
to pick up wherever they are.
Okay,
So,
so
like-
that's probably what they're
and-
doing with Spider-Man.
Yeah,
And
Black
Daredevil
Panther.
is
I mean, I think,
pegged right in at the current moment. So
yeah. Well, I think they're just going to throw Spider-Man into Civil War. That's what I think.
Yeah, they're
I
just gonna
100% think that.
100%. Yeah, and
Which they may throw Daredevil in as well,
Yeah.
that's possible.
and some of the other defenders, because
That definitely
I
did
know
cross
in,
my mind.
in Civil War, Captain America like gets a whole team and kind of makes like a second Avengers group, and then they
Yeah.
in the comics they're known as like the Avengers West Coast.
yeah,
Daredevil is from New York or whatever, so he may not join Captain America. He may side with Stark, but I don't know.
Well, if memory serves, there is a big resistance group, and Luke Cage actually heads it. So that's might come into play.
Yeah, and it's just a little coincidental with the timing of all this. All of a sudden, all these characters start showing up before Civil War comes out.
I mean, Marvel knows what they're doing.
They do.
Yeah,
They do
they
have
do.
it, written down.
they've already gotten the explanation down for why Spider-Man has not been in New York City when it was getting destroyed and everything. So,
Have they
What's
released
the
that yet?
explanation?
well, it's not an official one, but it's the most plausible fan theory
Uh-huh.
is that he wasn't on this dimension. He was with the interplanetary forces somewhere.
Oh.
Somewhere with like the Guardians of the Galaxy tie-in, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
The
see, I don't
no-core
know
type
what,
stuff.
because if they're gonna do an origin story with Spider-Man, which they already said that they don't want to do because we've seen the origin story 1,000 times over.
Yeah.
They could just kind of have him be freshly, like he could have just turned into Spider-Man kind of thing, like
Yeah.
because this Spider-Man in the MCU. All the other movies are irrelevant. It's not going to be Andrew
Right.
Garfield, so they don't count. So as far as we're concerned, he could have turned into Spider-Man a week before we see him on screen for the first time.
It's gonna be Toby again.
Yeah.
No.
No. No.
Get out.
No.
I say it again. I want them to not reveal the actor. Keep it utter secrecy until, he reveals
I got
himself in Civil War.
I got it. It's going to be Ben Affleck, and him and Daredevil are going to have a scene together. It'll be great.
I want them to. I don't know. Change him up.
It's gonna be near impossible for them to film and not reveal the identity of the person. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I
have a viewer in chat, J Corp, saying, "Hey guys, love this episode's cinematography." And
Yes,
really,
actually, I
it
did
was,
want to talk about that.
it was
Go for
shot
it.
amazingly.
It was shot amazingly. And being Cleo actually does this for a living. Do begin.
Yeah, we only as far as the cinematography and the sound design relate to his powers and how we see his powers working. We only got like a taste of it, kind of like with the rain and the chains and her heartbeat when she was lying.
yeah,
So I think they're gonna use it a lot more, and I hope they get creative with it because I think, especially sound design or something like that, is gonna be.
Yeah, I really liked the whole sequence when he went blind for the first time. Just the way it like faded out. It was just, I don't know. I really enjoyed that scene.
Yeah.
it's one thing that actually I didn't ever think about myself until one of my friends kind of pointed it out to me. Is that Netflix, along with Blu-rays, are the only true high definition that you're actually going to get usually. Television is 720p at best. Most video games are 720p. Most TV shows you download off the internet are 720p. Netflix does a true 1080 resolution on their shows, and it's Blu-ray quality. And so you see all this stuff naturally that you're not used to seeing on any other show. So that's gonna lead to their cinematography and their camera work too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I noticed the
wanna-
high definition and everything too, because I just signed up for Netflix just specifically for Daredevil, and I noticed immediately. I was like, oh my god, this looks better than what I watched normally on TV.
Yeah.
It's just, it was incredible.
Yep.
Yeah, the actual reaction was, "Whoa, this is awesome." I was like, "Wait a minute, you've never seen a high definition show before, have you? You've never seen a Blu-ray?"
See,
I
now
was like, "No."
here's my thing with this. Like, this is billed as a Netflix series. Is this ever going to be released in a format that we can purchase outside of Netflix?
I mean, it's
Probably.
produced by ABC Studios,
Net-
so I
well,
assume
Netflix-
if Disney wants to turn more of a profit on it, then they will release it on DVD.
Netflix releases their own shows on DVD anyway.
Right.
Oh, do
they
they?
do.
I know
Yeah,
that.
like House of Cards and Orange and the New Black have been put on DVD.
Mhm.
So it's not unheard of. It's probably going to happen after.
After you
Yeah.
know, give it time, like 3 or 4 months.
Give it a merchandising window. Let them tie in to around, somewhere around Avengers DVD release.
Yeah, and I mean, we don't forget we have the box set, and there, we actually have an opening video on our YouTube here. If you guys look through, we have an unboxing for the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1 box set, and I'm really curious what they're gonna actually put into Phase 2, because all these TV shows didn't exist. Like, is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 gonna be paired into this box set? Like, is Daredevil gonna be put in there?
That's a
You know,
good
like-
question. Actually.
Where are these shows gonna fit?
I mean, I would assume that they would want to do a movies box set, so the movies would have their
Yeah,
own
but it's
box
just
set.
like think of how much
There's-
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. tied into Captain America.
No, I know, but you
Right.
know how there are multiple box sets of multiple, things. I don't see why they couldn't do. Hey, here are all the movies, but then you wanted a Shield Captain America thing. Here's that. Here's
Well, they do have separate. They have an Avengers box set, but this is the Cinematic Universe box set. This was like a big deal, like huge packaging.
The first
They went
Iron Man's,
overboard. The
all that.
Tesseract is inside the thing. Like it's
Yeah.
insane.
Hey, you know what?
So
I don't know what the second one has, but if all I know is the Phase 3 one better have a wearable Infinity Gauntlet.
oh god.
with all the Infinity Stones,
Damn straight.
I'll make that shit myself.
That's possible. Anyway, I think that's about it, right? Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to just say something about Karen. That's her name.
Yeah, that's her name.
Karen Page.
I was in my head calling her Paige the entire time,
Her
but
name
that's
is
her last name.
Paige. Karen Page.
Karen Page.
yes, she pulled a James
Bond.
Bond on us.
Because I was thinking about it and I was like, she's not, like, obviously she's not trained to fight, but she's smart. Like when the cop was choking her, like she knew enough to relax to make it seem like she was out, and then she gouged his eye.
Yeah.
Like, she's scrappy, she's tough, she takes a bunch of hits, and I want to see more out of her.
Well, I have a feeling you're gonna.
Well, I mean like in the middle of the shit.
Right, in the
Stuff
middle
her.
of the shit. I gotcha. Who knows? I mean,
The Priest was a huge part of the comics as well. I know he's also in the movie. So Matt Murdock takes Sanctuary in the church at one point. So I'm curious if that is going to actually play out in this series. I'm hoping it does.
it might. I mean,
So.
this was obviously because that priest knows Matt because he's there all the time. This, is obviously his first visit to this priest.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he said it has been far too long since my last confession. The priest didn't even seem to know the guy. So
Yeah, but that the whole speech and the way he told that story at the beginning was kind of crazy. But we have another thing from J Corp in chat. He said this series is kind of like Arrow and Flash. They're two different shows that are in the same universe, but they have extremely different vibes and tones. Which, if you look at it, you have Flash, which is light and campy, and it's this really kind of fun show, and it's like you have Arrow, which is really like this dark, gritty kind of, they're very different styles, and the fact that they exist in the same universe is incredible. And I know that's DC, but you're getting the same thing here in the Marvel universe. Like the Marvel, the movies, and even S.H.I.E.L.D. It's kind of light and campy, and here's Daredevil, and it's very dark and gritty. And yeah, there's some humor. There's that Marvel humor thrown in there and whatever, but this is just a much darker series.
I was getting a real Gotham vibe off of it. I guess because the New York City correlation, because, you know, Gotham or New York
Gotham
City,
the city or Gotham the TV show?
The TV show.
Okay.
I was getting a real, you know, that TV show correlation off of it, like, kind of how, like, I only watched maybe the first 6 episodes of Gotham, but like kind of how these people were working and how, like, Fish and all those other, you know, rogues were working.
Yeah.
And just the whole setting and the vibe, and it just all kind of meshed together, I think.
Yeah. I think I don't know, because I think the Gotham TV show has like a campier tone. Like, maybe it's not on purpose.
Yeah.
But to me, like, Daredevil seems to be much more grounded in a real way that these underground people work, because and Gotham is a more like stylized version.
This is very realistic. This is, you know, they got a very, very much this is real life vibe. This isn't the movies. This isn't, you know, an elite team of super agents going out to do, you know, God knows what.
Elite
We're not fighting
everyday life.
No
exactly. As Jay puts it, he says the show is what happens when Arrow and HBO have a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's true.
The only thing that would have been better is if Netflix could have gotten their hands on Deadpool and they did Deadpool and Daredevil. Daredevil, like
don't even get me started.
I know.
As much as I'm looking forward to the Deadpool movie and all the X-Men stuff, like, just stop. I want it to die. I want them to die. I don't even want this movie to be made. Like, everybody's so excited for Deadpool. I want it to die. I want it to fall flat in its face. I want them to lose money over it, because I don't want Fox to have the rights. I want Marvel. After seeing what Marvel can do with Daredevil here, I know for a fact Marvel can handle Deadpool the way Deadpool needs to be handled.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel the same way about X-Men Apocalypse, where it's like, oh man, that's nice to see, but
that's cool.
I have a real feeling, depending on how they work with Spider-Man and Sony, that Marvel and Disney will just go to Fox and be like, yeah, you see how much money we just made? Yeah, let's make a deal here. Let's go ahead and give us back our stuff. We'll give you a share of the profits, and you can go on doing whatever it is Fox does. You know,
that takes logical
that might
thinking.
be true when Wolverine when Hugh Jackman leaves as Wolverine. I think that might be the case, but I feel like they just make so much money off of the X-Men they've been making.
Mm-hmm.
But that's over with. They're not going to make another X-Men headliner. They're going off, you know, individual characters now, and no one.
Yeah, unfortunately, them using Deadpool counts as them using the X-Men, so that fills their quota of releasing a movie under the X-Men franchise. So.
Well, I mean, it's like, what I'm saying is, it's not like they're going to come out with another X-Men movie. It's going to be. Like, I think even the Origins line is done.
Well, like, I thought
what would they do?
Apocalypse was going to be another all-encompassing one.
Apparently, it's supposed to be, but
yeah,
I don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway, that's our show.
Yeah, I do hope that they just stop.
I do too. I wish Marvel had the rights to everything, because then imagine what they could do with Civil War coming up if they had the rights to X-Men.
Yeah.
Make actual Civil War?
Yes, exactly. Anyway, like I said, that's our show. We could sit here all night and talk about this, but
we probably will next time.
We probably will next time, because we'll have 12 more episodes under our belt to talk about. Oh my god, it was so painful today. Cleo, where can they They can find you where your lower third breaks. There we go.
You can find me at Cleomoto on the socials, and on Twitch at the Cleomoto. I will actually be streaming probably at 8 or 8:30, right after this, basically.
Erica?
Yay. On Twitter and everywhere else at Erica Rain 7.
Dom?
You can find me down below at Phenomedom, PHENOMEDOM.
Oh, the Daredevil logo wants to totally block that out on you.
The P is silent.
The P is silent. Phenomenon.
That's why you can't hear pterodactyls when they use the bathroom.
Oh my god. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at Philodrin. I might be streaming at 8 o'clock too, I don't know. You can find all of us on Facebook, Gmail, Google+, MySpace, Twitter, and most importantly, YouTube at ASOTV Podcast, all one word. You can follow us at those places for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Game of Thrones coming, when did we say we're doing that? Monday.
Yes.
When are we doing the next ones of these? The Daredevil.
I think we said Wednesday we're going to try to pick this one up.
Okay.
So, stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on places. Stuff like that. Thank you for watching, everybody.
Stuff things.
No, see you, nice people who took the time to watch us.
All of what? 4 people?
Losers is an endearing term. Come on, guys. Don't be offended.